Hey everyone, this is just going to be a short video on how to go through and do your dialectical journal entries and also the comprehension questions for each chapter. So for each chapter, it's going to look a little bit different, but because the chapters are going to change, but it's going to look very similar to this. So the first thing you're going to have to do is your dialectical journal entry, which I'll pull up the instructions even. The term dialectical means the art or practice of arriving at the truth by using conversation involving question and answer. So think of this dialectical journey as basically a series of conversations that you're having with the text. You're picking up on important quotes, things that you think that you need to remember for later. Maybe you picked it because it says something about the characters. Maybe you picked it because you think it is trying to say something bigger than that. So maybe it's the overall theme of the book, whatever it might be. That's what you're going to use this as. And then you're going to react or respond to that quote. So here's how you're going to set this up. Your date, obviously put the date that it is here. The quote, you can just type right here. Make sure you put quotation marks. You also need to show us where you got it. So that's where you put the page number, and then the reaction or response is why do you find this quote important or interesting. So basically just explain why you picked the quote and maybe any further thoughts that you have on it. So if you picked the quote because you thought it was trying to tell you a message, or the author was trying to send you a message through the text, then tell me what message you think that is. Tell me how you think the author was doing that. So that's where you'd put your reaction or response to it. Also on the instruction pages, there are a couple or just some helpful things to look at. So for example, sample sentence starters, maybe you want to go with that. Then you can look at some basic responses, or even if you're you know what, I want to challenge myself, really dive deep into this quote, then look at these higher level responses for some examples. The next thing that you're going to get for every chapter will be a series of comprehension questions. There will be about 2 or 3 for every chapter, just ones that we have deemed really important for you guys to know, or just something that you're going to want to remember for later. So what I would suggest for you guys is at the beginning of every week, so after your iReady day and when you actually start diving into the text and start reading, before you do anything, I want you to look at your comprehension questions. Because as you're reading, if you already know the questions, you might as well be looking for them. So there's no surprises. It's not like we're saying read these chapters and then at the end of it we're giving you questions or we're giving you a quiz. We're literally giving you the questions ahead of time. So please, 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 before you start reading every week, look at the comprehension questions, see which questions you need to answer. I will also say, if you do this, that most of the time the questions will go in order. So even if you just look at the first one and you're like, okay, I'm going to start reading. What happened to Ponyboy's parents? And that's what you're reading for, to find that answer. Once you find it, then you go on to the next one. Okay, the next quote or the next question is, in the book it says that Johnny was like a puppy who has been kicked too many times. What evidence supports this? Okay, so I'm looking for where it says this in the book, and so on. So that's how you should go about and answer your comprehension questions. I do think that it's important to read through all of them before you even start reading, because sometimes, like question number 5, it says, what are the 2 main groups in the book? How are they different and how are they similar? Well, those answers to those questions happened in several different places throughout the chapters. So you could be working on this question and just taking notes and writing stuff down for it as you read, because you already know, because we've given it to you, that it's in chapters 1 and 2, that it's not specifically to one chapter. So that's how you're going to go ahead and do your dialectical journal entry and your comprehension questions. Please let me know if you have any questions.